In the tapestry of life, where every thread holds a story, America in black and white emerges as a haven for the voices echoing through the heart of our communities. In this podcast, we wade through the rivers of our collective experiences, celebrating the vibrant hues of change brought forth by the whispers of hope and the roars of action. It's more than just a conversation. It's a journey into the heart of our society, illuminated by the light of those daring to dream and do. Join us, and let your voice be the melody that guides us toward a dawn where every color finds its place in the masterpiece of our shared destiny. Together, let's paint a future brimming with the positives that dwell in our minds and the actions that shape our world.
Good evening, family, and welcome to another powerful episode of America in Black and White, where we honor our stories, elevate our voices, and celebrate the brilliance shaping our culture today. Tonight, we shine a spotlight on a young visionary who represents the next wave of Black creativity, a filmmaker, a writer, and a cultural creator who is already building legacy before he even walks across the graduation stage. Our guest, Khalil Jenkins, is a Bronx-born creative force committed to amplifying Black voices through comedy, storytelling, and education. As a senior at the legendary Morehouse College, majoring in communication with a focus in filmmaking, Khalil has carved out a lane that is uniquely his own. He is the creator and executive producer of the AUC Comedy Sketch Show, a groundbreaking student led series blending sharp satire with bold social commentary, a modern echo of In Living Color and Chappelle's Show. And he didn't stop there. Khalil also produces AUC Sessions, a dynamic live music showcase uplifting rising talent from HBCUs and beyond. He is a builder of platforms, a cultivator of culture, a storyteller who understands that comedy is not just entertainment, it's truth, it's resistance, and it's community. So settle in, share this stream, and invite someone into the room because tonight we're talking to a young man who is shaping the future of Black media with intention, creativity, and courage. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Khalil Jenkins.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. So, before we get started, is there anything you'd like to say to the audience before we dive into the show?
Um, Thank you, Charles, for having me here. Hello, audience. Hello, all. And I'm excited to be here.
So, what we're going to do first is I'd like to dive into your life story and your foundations, so
Yeah.
so the audience can get an understanding of who you, the person you are, Mr. Khalil Jenkins.
hmm
Um, Take us back to the Bronx and what part of your upbringing shaped your creative voice the most?
Just the culture, the experience around me, going to school, um, things I witnessed, growing up watching movies. That's influenced me. I'm heavily influenced by Spike Lee. Through his movies, specifically "Do the Right Thing," and how that movie was a visual representation of Black life. And I felt the connection because I felt racial tensions in the classrooms, out in the streets. So all of that is components of my influence growing up in the Bronx.
Okay. When did you first realize storytelling was part of your identity?
Wow. It wasn't actually till later. Like I'll probably say as soon as I got to college. And look and in my adult life, and I'm looking back at it now, I was always that creative kid. I was always into storytelling. I originally wanted to be an actor, but I decided to go from high school into college to study behind the camera. And I'm like, yo, wow, I really love this thing.
When you think about, you say Spike Lee was the influence and you
Right.
loved his movies, especially Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
Take us through what that meant to you when you would watch a Spike Lee movie. What would be
Hmm.
going through your mind, and what would be some of the things that you were thinking that you could do?
That I can do. For first, what's going through my mind? I was young, man. I feel like I had no business watching this movie. I was like very, very young. I pop it in. Rosie Perez dancing first in the first scene, and then we're going through, Brooklyn, going through the day on this hot summer day, and then this cultural environment in this neighborhood, and I'm like, that's almost like my neighborhood. These people almost like just like me in the Bronx, and then I've been stopped by police before, and then it's just this was like made like in the '90s, so that story is constantly happening in real life. It's constantly being told, and I'm like that. And at a young age, all of this is registering in my brain. And I'm like, yo, wow, this. That's why that movie to me hit me the most. I'm like, yo, wow, because I'm saying like, yo, this is crazy. Like this actually happens. So
Mhm.
that's what I go through.
Who were the early influences, family, teachers, mentors, who nurtured your creativity?
Oh wow, I never actually said this out loud too. So early influence growing up, first and foremost, my mom. She's always someone helping somebody. She's always just being the person to go to help out, and she goes above and beyond for it. And my grandfather, her father, who was a Muslim man, and he was just a strong black man, and he always would tell us stories and teach us lessons, myself and my siblings and my cousins. And the third person would be my reverend growing up, First Baptist Church in Harlem. He's also another strong black man that I looked up to, and he always, looked out for my mom, and he always wanted me to do better and be better as well as a black man.
When you think about your grandfather and the discipline of being Muslim or being a part of Islam, did you
Mm.
ever think that that would be something that you might that might influence you to be a part of that religion?
I don't know, cause it was weird, cause like my mom did not raise us in that religion. At first it was confusing, because first I was in Catholic school the first and seventh grade, and then I ended up being in public school, and then we was in a Baptist church every almost every Sunday. So the concept of religion to me growing up is, I don't know, it was always a back and forth. And then I see my grandfather, who also attended a couple of times in our Baptist church, because my grandfather and my reverend Edward Covert, they had a good relationship. And to me it was like, okay, that taught me that we're all one people, no matter what religion, no matter what we preach, what we practice. So at a young age, early on, I saw that, and I'm like, wow, this is like a wonderful foundation, a wonderful community that I'm growing up in.
Did your environment growing up impact the way you see comedy and culture?
Oh yeah, for sure. um, it, I was my mom brought me up pretty good. I wasn't influenced by the streets, but I will run around, getting in trouble, being a kid, and the things I seen and witnessed definitely shaped me to be who I am today. And I'm still growing. I'm still learning. Um, after I turned 25, I felt like that frontal lobe developed it, and I'm becoming self-aware of my actions, and the guy I was yesterday is not the guy I am today. And my goal is to always better myself each and every day. So growing up in the Bronx, spend most of the times in Harlem, um, running around in the streets, things I I was a part of and was not a part of, definitely again shaped me who I am right now.
Did Black media play in your childhood and early imagination?
Black media. So That's a good one because I'm born in '96, so I grew up with the internet. Like the internet was coming out, so I think we're the last of the millennials, literally the '96 babies. We were still outside. I was playing manhunt, tag, riding our bikes to the neighborhood, and at the same time, we had internet growing up. The phones were turning into computers. So black media was growing, and then the black Twitter became a thing. So as far as black media, to me, that the medium was black movies. So I'm because movie is my passion, is my thing. So specifically black media, that medium was black movies, '90s. Spike Lee, Do the Right Thing, More Better Blues, Malcolm X, even the damn, it's escaping my mind. All the '90s, Love and Basketball, um, everything '90s. I'm trying to get the rom coms, the '90s romance. It's escaping me right now. But all of
Love
those,
Jones.
that's the one that was on the tip of my tongue. Love Jones, The Wood, The Best Man. All of those movies was black identity, and I feel like everybody in the black culture who grew up on these movies, even on TV, on Soul Food, all of that, like this, like again, same thing with Do the Right Thing was a reflection. I felt like growing up of my life, so that played into my I guess storytelling, my identity. Um, as far as the internet goes, I always wasn't a person who was really into that. Like I use Instagram and Facebook, etc. Back then it was like coming to MySpace, um, and black media with music. So it's all a cultural thing that definitely played a part in my life. Um, but more specifically, the medium was black movies that helped shape or helped me recognize my identity.
So then, when looking at those movies, like what would be some of the things that you would be thinking, as you say, you were thinking about your identity? What were some of those things that impacted you and influenced you to make you want to be the filmmaker that you are right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. Wow. I think it wasn't anything about this until recently. Actually, until I recently got into Morehouse College, and there was a class I specifically took was the African American diaspora, and it's like once I took that class, it's like whoa, like my brain exploded. I feel like everything started making sense to me as a whole for Black culture, Black identity, Black history, and then related to my life, I'm a reference Do the Right Thing all the time because like I said, I've been stopped by police multiple times. And I've been hurt. I've been, when stopping first became a thing. Um, I've been stopped. I've been frisked. I've been running around in the neighborhood, playing tag manhunt. Police car came up, almost hit me by like a couple of inches. All got out, guns out, said, "Hey, sit down on the floor." We sitting down, hands over our heads, talking about we heard shots. People in the neighborhood coming out. We ain't hear no shots. These kids are just playing around, and then eventually let us go. And then back to doing the right thing. And I'm talking about when on Radio Raheem and that climax at the end. And like I'm like
Oh God,
it's like it's a reflection. And I go back and watch Soul Food. My family we bond over dinner like that. We don't growing up it was like holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas, we would go to grandma's house. Grandma come to my house. We go over to Aunt Charlene's house, and that was just how we come together and bond over these black centric cultural meals. So just to see that on TV, it was like, wow, that's amazing.
so what made Morehouse the place where you wanted to sharpen your craft?
Um, Everything relates back to Spike because I found out okay, it was the time to search. I got my associate's degree in New York Community College, Borough Manhattan Community College. So it's time to go get my bachelor's. I'm like, okay, let's further the goal to better the craft and to create. Where can I do that? First, I'm thinking NYU, maybe Columbia. I'm like, I don't know. Um, then I'm like, okay, where did Spike go? Found out Spike went to Morehouse. I was like, okay, if he went there, I'm going there. But as soon as I went to Morehouse, I'm like, people tell, oh, Spike went here, but he ain't studied film here. He actually studied, he cross-registered first and took classes at Clark Atlanta University. It was taught under Dr. Eichelberg. And then he graduated and then furthered his skills into NYU. And then I believe that's where he did She's Gotta Have It. That was his grad film. So I'm kind of right now was okay, cool. Come here. Morehouse do have a film program, but I didn't get into. But I do spend a lot of my time at Clark Atlanta as well. That's where AUC Comedy Sketch Show is built, and all the other student programs, because there's a TV training facility at Clark called CAU TV. So that's where I get all my creating and producing going on.
So, how has the AUC community shaped your personal and art? How has it shaped you personally and artistically?
Great one. It's just wonderful Black mentors here that I could just sit up in the office and talk to, that I feel like I can't get at no other. It's a HBCU. It's the black mentors that's here. And there's people here that want to help students. That students are just don't know where to find their guidance, and there's people here that are here to help. And I have like a good handful of mentors that's constantly helping me. And I honestly feel like I would not be able to get that anywhere at another institute that's just not an HBCU. And then just conversations that goes down that I know that can't happen somewhere else. We talking about this, we talking about ice scooping all these people up off the streets, and all this maggot stuff going on over there. Like I just like that we like it, and I'm just sitting in the office and we're just comfortably talking about these things. I feel like that can't happen nowhere else.
Mhm. So, with that solid foundation, how do you think it's going to project or push you forward in your career as you continue to do film?
Um, Definitely to lead how as my mentors have. Um, I'm learning to be friendly and firm. I'm learning not to lead with my emotions. I'm just following their lead overall. I'm doing what I see that they doing. Um, Me learning to be a leader, because as I produce these stuff, so I pretty much just following a lead, taking as much in like a sponge as much as possible. So if I have people, my peers or young ones coming up under me, I give them the same hospitality and knowledge that my mentors has given to me.
Well, what's a lesson from home that still guides your work today?
That's a great one. A lesson. Whew, this was a hard one because I never listened. I was always getting in trouble. So this is a hard one because I never listened. But I'll say this. One time I got into big trouble. Not going to say big trouble. And my father was very, very upset with me. And he told me, hey, when you go out there, you are a reflection of me. What you do comes back to me. You are a representation of me. And that is a lesson that sat with me till today. That sits with me till today.
So, what's a challenge you had to overcome that people don't see when they look at your success?
I think this is a constant. It's always a constant challenge that I face. I always felt like the underdog. I still feel like I'm the underdog. Um, I feel like I gotta always stay consistent, because consistency is the key to success. So I feel like creatively, and I feel like every independent creative will feel like this. I'm underrated, overlooked. And the way to work through that is to stay consistent in the work. So that is my number one biggest challenge. Not staying consistent, but not to feel overwhelmed. Not to fall back when an obstacle comes across you. It's to work through those problems, to work through the hardships. Because I faced many hardships since coming to Atlanta, since coming to Morehouse, and one of my mentors always tell me to keep pushing. So I'm just trucking through.
Well, I'm going to tell you the same thing because I will tell you, to be a creative such as yourself, I don't think you should ever feel, and I'm not telling you how to feel, but I just think that as long as you got that confidence and you're
Right.
continually to put on the great product that you're putting on that actually draws people in, that only means that the success is there.
Mm-hmm.
So just as you continue, it's only going to get bigger, it's only going to get broader, and it's only going to get better.
Right. Right.
You
I
just
agree.
got to stay confident and just feel secure in you. That's all. Don't worry about what other folk feel.
Absolutely. I apply that to myself all the time.
So, how do you stay grounded while building so much at a young age?
Wow. Um, I remind myself to stay humble. It's even when you get a little taste of I don't know what it is, but like you feel like you're doing good and people pat you on the back. Sometimes the ego can get to my head. So stay it's the environment, the people around me, my mentors. I had one mentor tell me, "Hey man, you kind of walk around here a little arrogant." And I'm like, what I do. So I'm grateful for the people around me that keep me in check, because I will start. Hey, I'm him for real. Y'all better watch out. So it's to stay grounded. It's the people that remind me, hey man, you gotta focus up. So I get that a lot to all my mentors that's here, specifically in the AUC.
Transition over to your filmmaking.
Hmm.
What drew you specifically to filmmaking as your primary medium?
Oh wow! So I originally wanted to be an actor. Um, what made me do filmmaking, start directing, and wanted to learn how to go behind the camera was really this decision on, okay, what am I really about to go to school for? Am I about to go to school for acting, or do I want to learn about behind the camera? So I kind of came up with a game plan in my head, and then my overall influence was Spike at the time. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna go to school, learn behind the camera, maybe at some point transition down in front of the camera. At some point when I was here, I did one play for Clark Atlanta called Sunset Baby, which was a great experience because I haven't been able to really perform acting wise on the stage, and I just hope to do more. But I've always been someone who's into like visual storytelling. That goes as far as back to playing with my toys as a kid, and as an adult, I'm like, okay, we was creating characters back then. I would take Captain America and he'll change. I'll change his whole identity and make him reconstruct him to a different character, and then in my head I'm creating shows, I'm creating movies, I'm creating plots, I'm creating characters, we're developing this. So I'm as an adult, I'm like, wow, like I was a very imaginative kid. That always stuck with me. And it just transitioned into filmmaking.
So, how would you describe your visual style or storytelling approach?
I think I'm still trying to find my storytelling voice. I don't know
Mhm.
what it is just yet. Um Quentin Tarantino, another favorite director of mine, says he steals. He steals from a lot because he used to work in a video renting store. So right now, I'm stealing shots, the double dolly where from Spike, where it's that one subject is just moving, just projecting at you. It's that one shot that you always see in his movie. Um, so right now I'm in the process of, okay, I'm taking what from these movies where I could put and then put it into my concepts, and then out of what I take, I'll find something that I'll stay consistent with, and that will be my storytelling. Even with writing, I'm reading scripts too. So I'm reading a lot of scripts. So I'm taking from. I just read Ryan Coogler's Sinners. I just read Christopher Nolan Oppenheimer. So I'm like, okay, what can I take here? Maybe these words I never heard this word before. So I'm constantly seeing it in this script. I might put it in my script. So I'm still pulling and putting it into my stuff to figure out my storytelling voice.
Ask you this because I know you speak a lot of the influence of Spike Lee.
Right.
Do you ever remember watching the movie he did called Girl Six?
Yeah, girl six. Yeah, Robin Givens. Yes, yes.
No, not Robin Givens. That was Layla Rashawn.
No, Rashawn? Okay, okay, okay. I thought it was Robin Givens. Okay.
But in that particular movie, now when I look at Spike Lee's creativity, and when I
Right.
just look at that movie overall,
Mm-hmm.
that was different than any movie he ever did. But that one told a story
Mm-hmm.
from both first person and third person at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did that, and when you looked at the end of the movie where she was actually auditioning for the movie,
Right, right,
did you
right.
think about all that time she was going through doing all those different things from the phone sex phone operator to
Right,
everything else,
right.
and how he did that? Do you ever think sometimes that you could actually do a project
Mm-hmm.
that can concentrate and do that many things in a movie and culminate it in the end?
Absolutely. Creativity is like there's no limit on creativity. So like that movie did inspire me. As most importantly, like the her as a character, I identify with like not well. She's a woman and she's going through the struggle as a black woman navigating, I guess, in the industry, but just as an artist who has a goal and has his ambition to set out to do something, and then it's just challenges and challenges after challenge, and then okay,
Yep.
what what are you willing to do to get there? Um, and then the style how it's shot. Oh man, like Spike ceases to amazes me because it's just I'm constantly pulling inspiration from that man. We're back.
Yes, sir. What happened?
We lost connection. I think it was on my part.
Okay. So, as you were explaining, that were you finished explaining that point?
Yeah, overall, I just learned that creativity is there's no limit on creativity, and that's just another thing that I pulled from Spike as well.
So, other than Spike Lee, what filmmakers inspire you, past or present, and why?
All Quentin Tarantino for sure. I just his way of storytelling, especially when I first saw Pulp Fiction. I never seen a movie told in that way, which is a anthology. No, I just love it. I just love that scene Samuel Jackson as I think his name Julius, and then you know with the young dudes in the room, and then it's just I just love that movie made me love anthology. And then when I saw another movie that was just similar, told in anthology was the movie Crash, with all these big names in it: Terrence Howard, Brendan Fraser. I think Sandra Bullock was in it. So and then Quentin Tarantino did Kill Bill. Like everything Tarantino did is just he has his unique way of storytelling. I think he always shoots on film. So my two biggest influence film wise was Spike and Tarantino, and I think no one, as many great cinematographers and directors out there, not when it comes to storytelling and visual, in their uniqueness, no one is close to those two to me. So those two are my biggest influence in the filmmaking world.
What's the biggest lesson filmmaking has taught you about leadership?
Wow. Biggest lesson. Filmmaking, even in just producing my overall shows as well. Like I said, I'm constantly learning how to be a leader every day because I'm constantly learning. Okay, what is the right tone and language? I just did an internship not too long ago. Um, I forgot what this was. She was on set working, and she told me, I forgot her name too. She told me to be friendly and firm because I told her how to when it's time to communicate things that you need to get done, or if there's someone on the team that's not just doing what they're supposed to, not communicating, or just not showing up, you just got to remain friendly and firm. So overall, that's was something I'm continuing to learn, and just definitely over communicate with everybody.
So, how do you balance comedy with social commentary in your work?
Oh man, so my biggest comedian influence is Dave Chappelle, and when I see Chappelle, I see him as he just does not care. Why if I did, and when it comes to social commentary, and it's just how I am and how I was brought up. Outside noise is just noise. So like it never affected me, you know. Actually, I welcome it, because that means the work is getting out there. The more noise I get, the more I know it's the work is spreading. So come on with the noise.
Hmm. So, when you think about, you meant, like I mentioned in the opening about, Chappelle's show as well as In Living Color. When you think about the satire and the stories that they told,
Hmm.
and the way they told the stories, which was true, but it made you laugh. Why was that so of an impression for you as to your storytelling?
Right. I think everything I've been influenced by has a common theme. With Spike, with comedy is black identity. It's the relevancy of it. Um, Stuff I related to, the satire, because this is stuff that the black culture is and goes through. One of my influences, writing wise, is Aaron McGruger, who is the cartoonist and creator of the Boondocks. Um,
Yes.
I may paraphrase a bit, but he said, he put out a post, announcement saying that he's exiting the show, and he said he's done everything with history, duty, love, and culture. Um, and I try to apply that same thing with my writing. And that right, that those words are the foundation of my content, which I think it's relates to the same as Chappelle's comedy and living color comedy as well. And I just love stuff that's funny, man.
Tell us, what is it that you want the audience or you want your audiences when you're doing your shows? What do you want them to get from your work?
Um, I want them. That's a good question. I want them to understand that this is black stories. I want you to understand that we're going to tell black history, past, present, and future. And I want you ultimately to laugh and be entertained.
What's the most rewarding part of directing young black talent?
Just to see others create, um, be in that space to create. Whether I'm producing a project for somebody, or I'm on set directing somebody, um, I don't know. This is a type of joy that I feel to be part of helping others meet their goals creatively. So, that's one of the main things I like directing, I like producing, because I want to push others. My biggest thing is not only serve myself, but how can I serve others around me? And the best thing I can do is I could direct you, help you, push yourself. I could produce this project, help you get that project out. So definitely just help pushing others creatively.
So, what's a moment on set that reminded you you're doing exactly what you're meant to do?
A moment. Wow. I feel like I have many of these moments. It's every time I show up and the team is there. And I'm like, okay, this is what because everybody's here, everybody wants to do this. So it's I guess not a moment, but more of a feeling when I see others working together on this project and they want to see it done and finished, like-minded individuals. So that encouraged me even more.
So, how do you approach writing and producing sketches that feel both funny and culturally relevant?
I first do a lot of research, and, I surf the internet, I find some articles. What comedy and the satire of it is pulling from what is happening in real life, and the material is there, especially for me for comedy. It's always there. I saw a post the other day, and a dude had his, you know, it wasn't his real documents, but his birth certificate, social security card, password. He was like, just in case, ICE pulls me over. I'm like, that's a sketch. That's a sketch right there. So like stuff like that is was what I tell the team. Go and scroll. Something you might catch something that might be useful to your material, or something someone a family member or that's funny to you that stands out, or something that happened to you between your boyfriend and girlfriend that stands out. So these are stuff. The material is always around that we could definitely pull from.
So, just when you guys go and search for items to actually do, what are some of the things or some of the topics? What do you actually exactly look for that you can turn into this reality that's going to be both funny but real? How do you find that, and how do you determine what those things are?
So our writers meet every week. We do a Zoom call. I tell them to go out, find something funny, and we talk about it. We critique each other's work. But it's like the foundation that I said before that I also said to them that Aaron McGruger applied, and that's like our overall mission statement. Because I'm the way I'm trying to go about it with this comedy sketch show or comedy overall is that feel that to me what Boondocks gave us, and I want them to feel, this is almost like a Boondocks episode or whatever. And I think his core foundation was to do everything with history, duty, culture, and love. So I I I emphasize that myself and the writers put that into work because we gotta we can't just pull things just to make fun of, especially nowadays, just for the sake of it. So we just have to do things, especially in Black culture, for history, love, duty, and culture. I don't know if I said culture already.
So, in thinking about your filmmaking career as it's already underway, and you're there at historical Morehouse College,
Hmm.
what precedents do you want to set forth that's going to etch in stone not just your legacy as a filmmaker, but how Morehouse has played into your journey?
Mm, presidents. Oh, that's a great one. I just, for me, since I'm coming out here, I tell myself I just want to be in a space to create and better the craft. No matter what challenges that you face, no matter what obstacles, you got to keep pushing and to achieve your goals creatively. So I think what I want to set is just make sure that those, especially those come up behind me, is you're in a space to create and better the craft.
So, what's a project you dream of creating in the future?
Oh wow. There's this big project. Um, right now it's been on my mind. I didn't get started writing yet, but it's a lot of research. But it's it's a theory of what it will look like if HBCU students organize. What's happening with our country today, and ideally, okay, and what would it look like if students, and I'm talking black students, start to organize? What would that look like? So that is something it's been sitting on my head just for like the past year or so. And after I'm done with the current projects, I'm gonna get started writing on that one. Because to me that one is a big story. I think that one to me is a dangerous story, because if we get organized, who knows what can happen.
Well, I think that most know what can happen. The
Hmm.
thing is when it happens.
Right, right, and that's the whole point of telling that story. Okay, like, is when can it happen? Can it? When I want to, I really want to plant seeds in people's heads and ideas. Okay, guys, it's time to tighten up because it's getting real out here. So definitely.
See Black filmmaking evolving over the next decade.
Um, I feel it's going places that we haven't been before. Um, Ryan Coogler, you know, right now winning is grabbing all these, talks about these Oscar noms, and then he's planning to do the Mansa Musa story. And then I think, and other directors like him, Ava DuVernay, um, will influence the next generation to tell more stories. Um, and I've been curious, like what are the stories before the transatlantic slave movement? You know what I'm saying? Because we need more stories. What did the medieval times for us look like? Instead of immersing ourselves in Game of Thrones, what was our real medieval stories? And I asked a professor, and he said during that time it's actually Mansa Musa. So Ryan Coogler is about to. Oh, it's rumored. I don't think it's confirmed that he's telling that stories. And then we just had the Woman King with um
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis. So I wanted like it more of those, and hopefully um we as the black filmmaker community help push these movies, because as soon as a lot of these movies and shows get canceled quick. Lovecraft Country canceled. Regina King did like one season of Watchmen and it won awards. Canceled. So it needs more, and I believe more is going to happen. But in order to push, we need to show out like how we show out for Ryan for other black creators.
Let's transition over to your writing.
Hmm.
When did writing become a serious part of your creative identity?
Um, a mentor of mine was always said that excuse my language. He said ideas are like assholes. Everyone got one. So from that concept, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be the one who push it out. So in order for your idea to be real, first you gotta write it down on paper. And then, okay, now you wrote this idea down. What's the next step? Then you go write the script, you format it, then you make your shot list, your storyboard. Now you have no choices but to go and shoot it. So the first step is write it down. I walk around with a journal. I write it down. Once it's in the journal, okay, I schedule a time to hour out my day to jot down plot points. You can even get an index card, write down your beats and stuff. So um, I took a writing class back in community college, which helped push the idea of writing more, and I loved it. I read books on writing short screenplays in long format. Um, it's like the more stuff I could find out what I can do to enhance the ability to be a visual storyteller. I'm all for it. I love everything under the umbrella in this medium, and I'm learning all aspects of it, including writing. So, and I'm constantly writing.
So, how do you approach writing comedy that speaks to deeper truths?
How do I approach comedy on that response to deeper truths? Um, just again, what's going on with this, what's going on in this country today, which is very important to me to reflect that in comedy. Again, my favorite class was the African American diaspora, and we went over this section called, or there was this little short video documentary titled "The Lost Cause," and it's about how the daughters of the Confederates, really how the statues that's out there of the Confederates came to be. And I'm like, in my head, what did that conversation look like? So I wrote a little sketch. These two elderly white women who's the daughters. They say, "Hey, Patty, I have an idea. What is it? We gonna write these little books and gather lawyers and then doctors and get some money and funding and pay honor to our great daddies and granddaddies and those who fought in the war and all that, and then we're gonna say that right in the textbooks in the schools, because when the kids grow up, that's gonna be the kids of the Jim Crow era, et cetera, et cetera. We're gonna teach them that the slaves had a good old time. Yes, they wanted to be slaves. They had a good time, was treated fairly, ate good, loved being in the field. So, and this is actual stuff that actually happened, that was said. They went and changed textbooks and said slaves had good times. So, that's definitely a sketch. Be on the lookout for that one. We're gonna figure out how we're gonna shoot that. So it's just stuff like that is truth that people may not know, and I could blend it with comedy.
Wow. Now, you know something that you may want to also do some research on and find out is
Mm-hmm.
that all of these Confederate states,
Mm-hmm.
now I want you to know that we today, we today pay
Mm-hmm.
for that Confederacy.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
we pay for that Confederacy. Now,
Mm,
a lot of people don't know that they're actually doing that, but they are. You
mm,
know. And so when you see those things all in all these different states, especially
right.
going across from Georgia to Alabama to Mississippi to Louisiana, you see
Mm-hmm.
all those little statues. You see the thing about the sons and daughters of the Confederate and so forth. That's
Mm-hmm.
being paid out of tax dollars.
Mm. Okay. All right.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
that's something else that
That's
you
a
could
sketch coming
use.
up. Yep. 100%.
So, what's your process? Are you a planner, a freestyler, or a mix of both?
I can't freestyle for nothing. I'm a planner. Definitely a planner. Everything is jotted in my journal. I'm constantly writing, constantly researching. I'm constantly being inspired because, like I said, the material is always around. Like it's always out there. Like I'm always catching lightning. It's like, especially of late. It's just I've been on fire. And I'm heavily motivated. So it's the creating is, to me, is nonstop.
So, what themes do you find yourself returning to in your writing?
With things,
Themes.
oh, themes.
Yes.
That's a good one. Mostly just Black history. I think. Um, there's a sketch that we shot stop motion that we're gonna put out. It's called Civil Rights Activists in Heaven, and we have civil rights activists in heaven looking down on Black people on election day, And then there's some black people say my vote don't matter. Hey, what do you mean? Hey, we up here. And then there's black people voting for people that's gonna undo everything that these activists done stood for and went through. So that is like my overall. I believe my overall theme is definitely a bit of Black history for sure.
You know, I love that thing, but I think some people. I'm not saying you, but I
Mhm.
think some people kind of like keep when they write, when they do stuff with Black history, like to keep it in like just a segment or just a thing that's within a thing, within a thing, within a thing. I
Right,
don't think they take it to expand it the
right.
way it should be.
hmm
That's just my thinking. What do you think about that?
For me and my right, it definitely needs to be expanded. It's something that's constantly you're gonna see throughout my work. Because you can't minimize Black history because Black history is American history. And it's important to tell because we're losing it. And then it's important to get in depth into history that we may not know. So I feel like I'm obligated as a storyteller to identify stories that the community may not be aware of, and I'm telling it through the lens of comedy or drama or however I wish to tell it.
You handle writer's block or creative fatigue?
Um, I every now and then I do. Um, lately, like I said, I've been on fire, but sometimes you have to put the pen down. That last thing you wrote, put it down. Take some time. Go for a walk. Go for a run. Drink some water. Come back to it when you can. Because you do need a breather. So that's how I deal with it. Go spend some time with some friends. Because like like I said, the material is out there. Go be amongst the people. Because you never know, somebody's gonna say something. Hey, that's kind of funny. Turn on the TV. Oh, this is happening in the news. That's crazy. I gotta put this in the sketch. Read an article. Read a book. You know what? That stands out to me. So whenever I feel stuck, I go find. When I don't have it in front of me, I gotta research. Writers to me write what they know. So you gotta go out and find things you don't know to write. hmm
Agree or disagree? Prince stated, he said some while ago, this was way before he passed. He
hmm
stated that when you have that great creativity, you've got those creative juices, he says you don't want to call on it too much because if you call on it too much, then it leaves. Agree or disagree?
Mm, don't want to call on it too much, then it leaves. I don't know. That's wow. I never heard that quote. Call on too much, then it leaves. I don't know because I don't think I'm there when it's about to leave me because it's here. Um, wow. I think I think I'm going to. I don't know because I want to call on it. I want it. I need all the creativeness. Creativity is unlimited. So, but I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree.
You know,
Cause I'm gonna disagree because it's 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 too much material out there. You may feel fatigued, but you just take a moment, step away. As long as you want, come back. But the work got it's the hustle in me. The work I gotta work. I gotta keep pushing. We gotta keep going. So I gotta constantly find something to remind myself to keep pushing.
piece of writing you're most proud of and why?
Piece of writing that I'm most proud of. Mm, I don't I don't think it's been written yet. Um, yeah, because I'm always looking forward to the next thing. I think that HBCU what if theory might be the one. Who knows? I don't know yet until it's written. But as of right now, I don't think it's been written yet. Because I'm always looking for, okay, we wrote this, we shot this. What's the next project? So I don't think it's been written yet, but it's coming soon.
Mhm. You write for an audience that spans multiple generations.
Um, you do the proper research. Um, you most importantly got to know your audience. And then you do the research that you can tailor it to different age group, I guess demographic, but more importantly, my audience is black people. So you got to make it fun and educational at the same time. And I think as long as it's fun and something they could take away from it, I think that can go to any generation.
What's the difference between writing for film versus writing for sketch comedy?
Oh, there's a big difference. Um, it's definitely structured different script wise because for a joke, you need that joke to happen quick. For a film, you have build up. So like for a joke, you don't got time. This is what I told writers too. We don't have time for a 10-page setup. We got to be in a joke now. So and then people coming in, but we need this setup. Why can't I just? Because no, we need to laugh every 5 to 15 seconds. We laughing on page 20. That can't be happening right here. So that definitely is structure wise. Definitely that's the big difference.
So, how do you use writing as a tool for cultural preservation?
Same thing. Just writing about the history of Black history, um, writing about what's going on with us. It's just keeping it relevant and also keeping it to a point where I could help spread the, the mindset of our peers um, in any fashion that I can, writing wise.
So, what advice would you give young Black writers trying to find their voice?
Oh man, great one. The material is always out there. Um, do your research. You can't don't sit around and wait till it comes to you. You gotta go out and find your material. That's for writing comedy, writing drama. Writers write what they know. So to set yourself also from other writers, write what you don't know. So that's an advice I'll give.
So, transition over to your work as cultural curator and community builder.
hmm
Tell us, what does cultural curator mean to you in practice?
Someone who, in some form of way, gives to the community. Um, I think I could give the community an essence of a bit of Black history, do this comedy, do the writing, do the creativity. Help building a community around a production team of especially young individuals myself, where we can help push each other to create in a better space. So for sure.
So, how did AUC sessions come to life, and what gap were you trying to fill?
So AUC session was originally another student's idea, but it wasn't sessions. They wanted to shoot their own tiny desk like feel, and they came to myself and other students. We shot it, and I'm like, okay, I don't want this to be a one off. Let's continue this and make a show out of it. Our version of Tiny Desk, um, which we've done. I think we have like 12 episodes out now. We've got one coming up next month, and to fill a gap. We just want to make sure we highlight students that's out there making music, doing covers or originals, and this could be a platform for them to elevate.
What does it mean to platform rising talent from HBCUs?
Say that again. I'm sorry, you cut out a bit.
What does it mean to platform rising talent from HBCUs?
What does it mean to platform? It means to again elevate. Everybody has a voice, whether it's musically or whether it's through writing a comedy sketch. Being a producer. Like I said, I love helping my peers and producing their stuff and putting it out there. So it definitely means for me is that we get a chance to voice whatever we feel like creatively. And that means, and also creativity is the limit. So whatever you feel like voicing that creatively through music, through live performance or AUC sessions, or voicing whatever you feel like you need in a sketch show and elevate it to heights that we can't imagine. To me, that's a great thing and a great feeling.
So, how do you choose the artists and creatives you spotlight?
It's really an open door. I don't have the luxury to pick and choose. As an independent student who's right now trying to make a name for himself, don't have the luxury to pick and choose. It's whoever wants to come and participate in our show, and we sometimes do get a good number, and I'm really grateful for that. So it's just open door right now. So anybody who comes in and wants to join sessions or a sketch show, they've been more than welcome. Or sometimes we have to literally go out and send emails and text me, hey guys, you want to come be part of this show? So it's mostly in between those two.
Wow. So how many, when you guys, you saying you got a show that's about to drop next week or next month or so forth. So, can you tell me, you guys like just create, like you've created this title. So, how often are you guys shooting? Are all the episodes like in a monthly fashion, or are they weekly? Tell us how that works.
It's monthly fashion for both shows because everybody has so much on their plates. We try to do weekly with sketch show, but it just didn't work out because it's got students that want to join organizations and D9. Some students got jobs, classwork, homework. So it's best that we spread them both out monthly. And we rehearse weekly. We rehearse sketches about 2 weeks. Once we confirm our artists and talent, they rehearse, and then we go out, we shoot sketch, we go out and shoot sessions, and then we release it, and then we repeat the process each month.
What's the most powerful moment you've witnessed during an AUC Sessions performance?
Powerful moment. Because this production takes not one person. It takes, you got to get your camera op, someone to do the lights, someone to build the set. You obviously have your talent. So each and every time I see about a handful of us working together on this project, and it's not just my show, there's other students that do other shows as well. Um, that takes a number of people to help push. Probably that was one person the idea, and I would go like, wow, like this was an idea, and now we have this much people working on this one person's idea, and we're all helping each other to push and elevate that. So every time I see that, that's a special moment to me.
You see comedy, music, and culture intersecting in your work.
Um, it's music, comedy. It's something that's been part of my life. So why not create it? I'm not necessarily creating music, but why not put these things on a platform where I can help elevate others? So that's how I intersected in my work.
So, whew, are you guys expanding?
That is the goal. Hopefully, one day. As of right now, it's just step by step. We do hope to expand, but right now we're gonna work within the AUC community and just build and then eventually expand.
Okay. What responsibility do you feel as a young curator of Black culture?
Um, a responsibility I feel like I'm obligated to is to tell Black stories. That's one. Whether it's do comedy, drama, or do help someone elevate their Black story through music. And two, I feel responsible to help push others that's around me as a leader, as a producer. There's people out here that wants to create, and it's up to me to. I feel like I have a responsibility to help elevate their projects.
How do you ensure your platforms remain authentic and community centered?
Um, that's a great question. We do the best we can, man. We stay true. We stay true to the work. We stay true to ourselves. Especially when it comes to just writing the caption and posting, um, and just always go with being honest. We've got to move with honesty always, no matter from the writing room to posting.
So, what legacy do you hope your work leaves for the AUC?
Wow, that's actually something I never really thought. Um, I hope when I leave, they see that I wasn't just a student. I was a student that also left a body of work here, or someone who continued the body of work after he left. Because I do have plans of growing this comedy sketch show, like you said, and expanding. So just someone who just didn't walk these halls and walk these floors, I left something that okay, we can. We're here where Khalil Jenkins walked. He started a show. Maybe we could do something like that, or maybe if this is a continued partnership after I graduate, how can I get up and coming students to also find their voice creatively and join um, these projects? So this is something I hope.
So, what's next for you, and how can the community support your journey?
Um, Tune in to the AUC Comedy Sketch Show. Tune in to the AUC sessions. Um, what's next is the work is continuing to grow. Um, a short film is I'm planning on shooting next month called "What Is Love." Hopefully, after I shoot it, it's going to be directly released to YouTube, um, and hopefully, people could tune into that.
Okay. Now, we also discussed Black history,
Hmm.
and I asked you who was the most influential person or persons in your life and career. You
Hmm.
mentioned to me Fred Hampton and Malcolm X.
Yes.
When you reflect on your journey as a filmmaker and cultural curator,
Hmm.
what was the earliest moment you realized Fred Hampton and Malcolm X were shaping your worldview?
Mm. Um, Definitely when I came to Morehouse, and that's when the writing. I felt like certain ideologies was seeping through the writing. In my overall thinking. Because Malcolm X, you know, what I got from him was just standing on dignity, and from Fred Hampton was to organize, which is that organizing, helping the community, which is that script concept is coming from. So I'm very inspired by the Panther Party, and heavily inspired by um, respecting self, and not just standing on who we are as a people from Malcolm. So those ideologies are shaping me today as a creative, and I'm curious of myself on how I'll do more to shape the community.
So both Hampton and Malcolm X spoke unapologetically about self-determination.
Yes, sir.
How has that principle guided the way you build your creative career and choose your projects?
Just again, staying on business when it comes to my creativeness and be unapologetic about it, especially through my comedy. Because I'm gonna say things that might tether some feathers, and I'm not gonna flinch about it. You know, especially you mentioned about commentary. I'm like, hey, so definitely standing on business when it comes to my creativeness.
So, what aspects of Fred Hampton's leadership style resonate most deeply with you as someone who curates culture and builds community through storytelling?
Um, I love the way how the Panther Party was in the community. This and I came to find out that there are still active parties, young members today in the community, giving serving food and giving out clothes and not only just doing that, they was you know back then they was giving people like healthcare and educating them. So in a way, I eventually want to be part of something like that, who's physically in the community, educating, um, and helping out. Because one of the key factors that I feel like that we need is to know is history, and we need to be educated on politics. A lot of black people say they're not political, but I feel like everything politically happening to everything that's happening to us is political, and we need to be very aware, just be politically aware. So there needs to be some type of, I want to find a way to put together some type of educational class to make us all politically aware at least.
So when it comes to, I'm sorry, just a follow up to your answer because I mean that was really interest that was really interesting answer.
Right,
Just when you think about it and you know what community is and you know what you've seen, especially when it comes to dealing with Fred Hampton.
right,
Um, so in just thinking about that, and I know also you said that you're unapologetic about your stories.
right.
Being authentic and being strong and firm in the truth.
Hmm.
Has there ever been moments where with your work, uh, people have come to you and say it was too much?
Oh, not yet, but I do expect it. Like
Mhm.
I, I'm, I'm gonna push the button. I'm gonna continue to push those boundaries and put it out there and say, hey, did anybody feel a way about this yet? No? All right, we gonna keep going. So not yet, not yet. But who knows?
So, well, Malcolm X evolved publicly,
Right.
intellectually, spiritually,
Hmm.
and politically.
Hmm.
How has his evolution influenced the way you allow yourself to grow as an artist and a man?
Right. His I've learned to be proud of being a black man. I've learned to, you know, stand on what I believe it is to be a black man. I learned, that this man was I'm losing my words, but I've learned through his life that we as a people don't need handouts. We need our own sense of community, which we have had it before, but it was taken away. But we need, I think, in today's time, we are able to do such, with both of these ideologies from Hampton and from X, with organizing and with self identity. I think that those two together will help elevate us.
Hampton believed in political education
Mm-hmm.
as a tool for liberation. How does that philosophy show up in the stories you tell or the platforms you create?
Right. So again, like that Lost Cause sketch, to me was like a political. That was a political decision the Confederate daughters made, I believe. And again, I feel like a lot of people are unaware that moment in time, my generation, the generation coming up behind me, is unaware that happened, and I have to tell it in a way that it reaches them. Um, so it's to tell stories like that and find a way to reach individuals that's coming up behind me and in my generation.
So Malcolm X emphasized the power of narrative, who controls it,
Mm-hmm.
who benefits from it, and who is erased by it. How does that shape your responsibility as a filmmaker?
It's my responsibility to tell these stories. I feel responsible to educate myself. Feel responsible to be politically aware. To know our laws, to know our government. Because we're really at a point now where they're taking away the history, and we have to find a way to preserve it and tell it. So me being a black man, it's my responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen.
So, so with all that being said, though, I mean, like, what are some of your future projects that you're thinking about that you're going to be working on that's going to have these stories and more that's going to be impactful on our communities?
Starting with that what if story, and hopefully to grow and tell more such as that. If it wasn't rumored that Ryan Coogler wasn't telling that Mansa Musa story, I'd probably be the one researching and telling that story. Um, so it's more so into the responsibility of telling those stories, and hopefully they make an impact of the community and the culture. In like what I feel like at the end of school days, Lawrence Fishburne running to the screen, wake up, like we will wake up. So that's what I hope.
You know, as you mentioned, Ryan Krug getting the opportunity of possibly doing the Mansa Musa story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did a blog post on that a few months ago
Yeah.
on Mansa Musa. I really did. And
Mm-hmm.
it's because what was so interesting, you know, which kind of like tells the story and the history
Mm-hmm.
and the context of this world, is that he was the richest man in the world.
Right. Right. I was about to. Yeah.
So, in being the richest man in the world, and I excuse this for if it goes out of context a little bit, but what the hell happened?
Right. 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 That's right.
Importance of that post, but what
Mm.
that post also did was it put it out there, left it to the minds of those that read and know how to comprehend.
Right.
Is that didn't just dissipate?
Mm-hmm.
That did not just dissipate.
Mm-hmm.
There were actions that happened
Mm-hmm.
that took away that wealth,
Mm-hmm.
took that wealth away. It didn't just dissipate and vanish.
Right.
That was stolen. The
Mm-hmm.
story is stolen.
Right.
Thievery.
Mm-hmm. It was just crazy to me. So like it's exactly what you said, to have people comprehend like what happened. That's what I hope, like, with these stories. Like, okay, let's put together these pieces and figure out what happened and what can we do to prevent such things of our history, or put pieces together and figure out how can we move along.
We're deeply rooted in community.
Hmm.
In what ways do their teachings influence how you show up for the communities you represent in your work?
I missed that first part. Say that first part again.
Both men were deeply rooted in community.
Right.
In what ways do their teachings influence how you show
Hmm.
up for the communities you represent in your work?
Right. More so showing up for my peers, help them showing up creatively and help them pursue what they need to. Helping them stand on their business, helping them be unapologetic to their stories. Also, right now, I'm currently looking into how can I be more active outside of the creativeness, um, and joining a organization where I can participate in and be more involved. And hopefully, if I could get like minded within the creative team to branch off and do the same, and help spread those ideologies that both men had. Because I like again, Fred Hampton within organized, and I believe it was a recent black senator. I think he passed away recently. I forgot which state. He said black people need to do what we need is to be organized. Um, and then for Malcolm, it's just us standing on our black identity, and just hopefully I could spread that within the community.
If you had to identify one value from Fred Hampton and one from Malcolm X that you consciously
Hmm.
carry into every creative decision, what would they be?
Um, I, Fred was served the people, and I think from Malcolm he gave people a mindset shift. So Fred, I'll go with serve the people, and with Malcolm, a mindset shift.
So your work often blends humor, truth telling, and cultural critique.
Hmm.
How do Hampton and Malcolm X inspire the tone, courage, or honesty in your storytelling?
Um, they both were leaders that the system could not ignore. Um, and I believe through both of them, I hope to build something that the system definitely cannot ignore. You can't ignore these stories, can't ignore our voices, and hopefully the goal is to further grow the community that eventually those who are not or those who are opposed to the community cannot ignore.
Final question.
Yes, sir.
As you think about your legacy, how do you hope your work continues the unfinished work of Fred Hampton and
Mm,
Malcolm X for future generations?
yeah, it's crazy because Fred Hampton was just 21, man. Um, I hope I could be able to help the community understand how important it is. Again, I'm emphasizing to be politically aware and for us to know our history. And I think with that, those two main foundations, we can't lose.
So, in closing, what are some words of wisdom and encouragement you'd like to leave with our audience? How they could connect with you via your social media, go to your websites, learn some things about your writings, the work that you have out now. What would you like for them to know?
Creatively, find a way of being a space to always create and better the craft. You can find Sketch Show at AUC Comedy Sketch Show across all platforms. AUC Sessions is AUC Sessions across all platforms. And thank you for having me here today, and just to talk.
Well, I'll tell you, I really do appreciate the work that you're doing and the path that you're on because it's the positive energy and the Black legacies that we like to display here on this platform.
Yes, sir.
Because it's the positive light that's always been burning bright, but most people never have the opportunity to, one, see them,
Mm-hmm.
believe them, and to know them. So this platform is here to connect that and to continue that growth. And so you being the young man that you are, that's about to not only graduate college, but have already started your creative journey,
Mm-hmm.
it's one that more than deserves to be told, but it's also one that people should familiarize themselves with, because you're the next man that's on the rise. So you're next up.
Yes, sir.
So if you're next up, then, they need to see the face and know the man that's behind, the work that you're putting out there. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm happy to have you here. And I'm very happy that, people have gotten the opportunity to not only learn a whole lot more about you, Khalil Jenkins himself,
Yes,
but
sir.
to be ready to look at the work and familiarize themselves with the work that's actually coming out.
Yes, sir. Thank
So, in closing, I want to say this for to our audience as well as to yourself,
you. Mm-hmm.
is that Khalil, tonight you reminded us that the future of Black storytelling is not only bright, it's intentional, it's courageous, and it's rooted in community. Your work proves that comedy can be a mirror, a megaphone, and a movement all at once. You've shown us what it looks like when young creative refuses to wait for permission, when he builds his own platforms, uplifts his peers, and uses his gifts to amplify the voices of his people. To our viewers, let tonight be a reminder that brilliance doesn't have to be seasoned to be significant. Support young creators, share their work, invest in their vision, because they are shaping the culture we will only one day call history. I'm your host, Charles King. This is America in Black and White. And as always, we honor our past, uplift our present, and build our future together. I want to say you guys have oh,
Connection.
yes, I see you went out again.
Yeah.
All right, so in just closing, for those of you that are watching on our YouTube channels, I would hope that you will please support us by going to the channels and subscribing and enabling all notifications where you're able to catch all the shows live. You'll also be able to go back and watch all of our previous recorded content and learn from each and every guest that's been here on this show. This is Thursday night, so you guys are already probably prepared and ready for the weekend, which means I hope to see you guys tomorrow night on Final Word Friday as we close out the week with all the hot topics of what is happening here in America and what's affecting our communities. We have three great guests tomorrow, and that show, once again, will be totally a great learning experience for each and every individual. Thank you all again. I'm your host, Charles King. This is America in Black and White, where we will continue to color conversations on the canvas of America. You all have a good night, and we will see you tomorrow evening.